Welcome back to the Coop with Meyer Hatchery, where we talk all things poultry in hopes of inspiring crazy chicken keepers and educating future flock owners. I'm Kendra.
And I'm Jeff. And today we discuss predators as part of our A Year with Chickens series.
We dedicate one episode per month to this series, covering what to expect when raising a chicken in that particular month. For the month of October, we're taking a look at predators. We'll discuss everything from what types of predators to watch for, how to identify them, and how to best protect your flock. While predators can strike at any moment, you'll commonly find an increase in issues during early spring or late fall as they emerge or are preparing for the scarcity of food throughout winter. The predators you'll face are dependent upon where you live. If you're unsure what to expect, I would recommend a quick web search or asking others in your area what they've experienced. And even if you think you have a good grasp, the moment chickens land on your farm, the predators seem to emerge from the woodwork. First, let's cover domestic animals like cats and dogs.
Cats are more prone to prey on chicks and will often run off with them, leaving no sign. Rarely will they attack mature chickens due to their size. However, if you have a wounded or injured chicken, your barn cat may take advantage of the situation. Typically, cats will leave feathers behind from mature hens, as they are not easily digested.
When it comes to dogs, you may have issues with both chicks and mature chickens, depending on the breed and temperament. If domestic dogs are to attack, you'll usually find blood on the dog, feathers array, and the carcass in close proximity to the attack site. But don't let that scare you. The beautiful thing about dogs is that with a little persistence, they can be trained. I have 2 young Australian Shepherds, well known for their bad behavior. But when it comes to our flock, they know the rules. As a herding breed, we allow their natural instinct to work in our favor, keeping watch of the flock and reining them in when they stray too far from the barn. Next up are bears, coyotes, bobcats, and foxes.
Signs of a bear attack are pretty obvious, as they use brute force to break into your coop or run. They'll easily eat mature chickens, chicks, eggs, and even the feed. And they are not neat eaters, often leaving the carcass, intestines, and other remnants scattered about. Another sure sign of bear is their scat. If you're finding signs of a bear near your coop, it's time to batten down the hatches.
Coyotes are more active at night, but in rural areas can be seen during the day. If intrigued enough by their future dinner, you may also find them digging near your run, trying to get in. Just like dogs, you'll find feathers scattered from the attack. And usually coyotes can be easily identified by the prints they leave behind. If you have dogs and lock up your chickens at night, coyotes usually stay at bay. We have several you can hear howling at night, and knock on wood, we've never had an issue when it comes to our chickens.
Bobcats also have the ability to take off with entire birds and usually go straight for the jugular or head to kill them. They typically hunt during the early morning hours or at dusk, but can attack at any time of the day. A key sign a bobcat may be your predator includes tracks or scratch marks. Bobcats are prone to covering their prey, just as your house cat may hide a mouse.
And foxes also have the ability of taking off with chicks and chickens, but as the saying goes, sly as a fox, they can be a little harder to identify. Again, you may find feathers strewn from the attack site, but otherwise will find very little evidence. This spring, I witnessed firsthand a young fox in broad daylight creep up on our flock and snatch a juvenile chicken. Well, quite a sight, with me running outside in my slippers hollering. I was unable to save the chicken, but was lucky to be able to identify the predator. Foxes simply won't be scared away and will return repeatedly to a source they know is bountiful with food. So sure enough, around the same time a few days later, he reappeared and we were able to trap him. Next up are your raccoons, possums, weasels, and skunks.
Like foxes, Weasels and minks are very tricky to catch. They are sly and can fit into unusually tight spaces to invade your coop. The worst part? They often kill for fun, meaning you won't lose just one or two chickens. They'll decimate your entire flock. Oftentimes, heads will be missing. You'll find lacerations near their vent, and their intestines will be pulled out. While most often it's a bloodbath, sometimes birds will be killed with a bite to the neck, severing their spinal cord. It will take persistence to catch these critters, but can usually be accomplished with traps.
The good old raccoon, a common predator for most chicken keepers. We fend our property from coons every year. As soon as that warmer weather appears and their babies emerge in the spring, you better be on your toes. Raccoons will often bite the head or neck of your bird, consuming them along with the crop and chest. They are notorious for their hand skills, easily moving items, and outsmarting basic lock systems. Using their reach, they'll grab chicks or chickens through fencing, but when they are unable to pull the bird through, will run off with just their head or leg, resulting in birds left with missing limbs. This is one of the reasons we recommend hardware cloth instead of traditional chicken wire fencing.
If you can smell a skunk in your area, it may be stalking your chickens. Skunks don't often kill mature chickens, but will rob a nest of eggs.
And the same can be said for possums, one of the lazier predators who like to snack on eggs in the nest, often leaving behind a mess. Typically, they don't go after mature chickens, but will grab babies as they tend to be easier prey. We've had our fair share of possums, and you will have to keep a watchful eye as they tend to be sneaky, lingering around the corners of your barn or coop, and when spotted, known to play dead. This is a defense mechanism when threatened, and they are even known to excrete a green odorous goo to inhibit becoming prey themselves.
Since we're already on the topic of egg eaters, let's not forget about snakes. Luckily, living in the north, we don't face this challenge, but you southerners watch out. While other predators will leave half-eaten shells behind, snakes will consume the entire egg. Next up are your aerial predators, most commonly hawks and owls.
Chickens have an acute sense to aerial threats. Once spotted, the alarms will sound, and you'll often find your flock taking cover under trees, brush, the tractor, or headed into the coop. Hawks are daytime predators, circling your yard or roosting in a nearby tree to plot their attack. They'll usually pluck your chicken right off the ground, carrying them away, leaving little to no sign. Since we free range, we regularly have hawk issues, losing a bantam hen a few years ago. Otherwise, our mature chickens are very aware of the threat, with our head rooster quick to give the signal it's time to retreat.
Just like hawks, owls will attack your mature birds, carrying them off, but usually do so at night. If you have an open run or a barn converted coop, owls are known to roost high and attack when the moment is right.
So now you're thinking, thanks guys, I'm going to have to move a cot into the coop to protect my birds from all these mischievous critters. I will tell you, losing a bird to a predator is inevitable, but we do have several tips to help you in preventing predation.
First, it starts with your coop. Fortify it against predators you're known to have in the area. This could include solid floors and fencing placed at least a foot underground to prevent digging. Try to keep the locks high off the ground. Use multiple locks or complex latches that predators can't simply bump open. And make sure your birds are shut into a locked coop at night. If you work odd hours or can't get to the coop to lock up at dusk, consider an automatic coop door.
Ensure you have sturdy fencing. For permanent coops, use hardware cloth to keep sly weasels out and raccoons from reaching through. For mobile coops, deploy electric poultry netting. Not only do these help keep your birds in, but will keep predators out. You can also seek out a solution like Night Guard nocturnal predator control lights. These solar-powered devices emit flashing red light that mimic the reflection of light on an animal's eye, making the predators feel like prey. These can be used to protect chickens, livestock, and even crops. And when it comes to aerial predators, consider Night Guard repellent tape. This holographic tape scares away daytime predators with light movement and noise. Using Night Guard tape, along with a mesh netting over open runs or structures your chickens can gather under for protection, will significantly reduce the risk of aerial attacks.
Next, remove all food-related attractants. This means collecting eggs regularly to keep possums, skunks, and snakes at bay. Place food in metal containers within a locked enclosure to reduce attracting bears or raccoons to an easy food source.
Consider adding a rooster to your flock to help protect your hens. Not only will they sound the alarm for hawks flying overhead, but will often defend his flock to the death against raccoons, foxes, and more. Guineas can also make a great addition as natural alarms, sounding at the sight of anything odd in the yard. They also hate snakes and will help fend them off from your coop. Dogs, whether livestock guardians, herding breeds, or just the family pet, can also help in controlling predators, from marking their territory on the perimeter of your property to warn coyotes of their boundaries to barking off hawks. Your favorite pooch is a great protector. Lastly, seek assistance from wildlife professionals. Depending on your local rules and regulations, trapping or hunting predators may be an option. Some predators, like hawks, for instance, are federally protected in the United States, meaning it's illegal to harm them or hunt, trap, cage, shoot, or poison without a permit. Living in the country, we hunt and trap regularly. I'm no stranger to the long list of predators that thrive just beyond the brush and trees. However, if you're having a predator-related issue in your coop and are having a hard time identifying the culprit, try out Gail Damero's book, What's Killing My Chickens? As author of the Chicken Health Handbook, the name may sound familiar from episode 22 when we chatted with Gail.
Her latest edition is a Poultry Predator Detective Manual, where she does an excellent job further explaining what to look for when determining what predator may be getting into your hen house, along with images. Again, her books make a great resource to have on hand and draw from in a moment's notice.
Also, as previously mentioned, contacting your local university's agricultural extension or your local wildlife department can also be a valuable resource. And that concludes this month's episode from our Year with Chickens series. We hope this helps you prepare, identify, and most importantly, protect your flock from predators.
Thanks for listening to The Coop. Be sure to subscribe, and if you'd be so kind, drop us a review.
See you all next week.